Okay, so job interviews, especially those first few, can be really nerve-wracking. You know, you spend so much time working on your resume, and then you actually have to go talk about it and convince someone you're a good fit. And you set this really cool guide about interview tips for beginners.
Yes.
So I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through it together.
Absolutely.
See what we find.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of starting at the beginning, it seems like a lot of people think that an interview is all about how you perform on that day.
Yeah.
But this guide really emphasizes how important the preparation is.
Right.
That happens before you even get to the interview.
Yeah, and that's what I find so interesting is that a lot of folks don't think about that.
Yeah, they don't.
They just think, okay, I need to show up and be my best self that day.
Right.
And while that's true, you really have to do all this work beforehand.
And one of the first things that they talk about in this guide is really researching the company.
Oh, absolutely.
Like really
just really going deep.
Yeah.
It's not just looking at their website, not just the About Us page.
Yeah.
You really want to understand what are their values?
Yeah.
What's their mission? What are they working on right now? What are maybe even their challenges that they're facing?
Right.
And it's about connecting the dots between what they do and what your experience is and what you can bring to the table.
So almost like if you're applying to a company, you should know their latest project or their latest product. If you're applying for like a clothing company, you should know their latest line. Or if they're sustainable.
Exactly.
What are they doing for sustainability?
It shows that you're not just looking for any job.
Right.
But you're specifically interested in their company and the opportunity to contribute to that.
Right. And I think it shows that you're a serious candidate.
It does.
Like you put the time in.
Yes, absolutely.
Which a lot of people don't.
Exactly. And that research can also help you tailor your answers to their specific needs.
Right.
And ask more insightful questions.
Nice.
So
yeah, it all kind of builds on each other.
It does.
I think one thing that people always struggle with is that dreaded question.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It's like...
It's so broad.
So broad.
Right.
I never know what to say. I feel like I'm rambling or being too robotic.
Yeah, it is a classic opener, and it's often where people go wrong.
Right.
They either launch into a chronological recitation of their resume.
Like I was born.
Right, exactly.
And then I went to school.
Yeah.
And then I graduated. Yeah. And then...
Right, or they overshare.
Yes.
Irrelevant personal details.
Yes.
So this guide emphasizes the importance of crafting a concise and compelling narrative that highlights your key skills and experiences, aligning them with the role's requirements.
So like you're telling a story.
You are.
But you're highlighting how your skills fit what they're looking for.
Exactly. You want to create a story that showcases your potential value to them.
Right.
Not just listing off all your achievements.
Checking boxes.
Right, but connecting those achievements to what the company is looking for.
And the guide actually has a sample answer in here.
It does.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yes. And it really focuses on achievements that are relevant to the job description.
Right.
And it's like a good balance between personal and professional.
Right. You want to strike that balance between professionalism and showcasing your authentic self.
Yeah, I always get nervous about that part, like how personal.
It's too personal.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to tell them my whole life story.
You don't need to. You want them to get a sense of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But within the context of the professional setting.
Yeah. So this sample answer is a good starting point.
It is.
But how do we actually make our skills and our experiences come alive for the interviewer?
Yeah, that's where the
STAR method.
The STAR method comes
in.
But that kind of sounds...
I know it can sound...
a little gimmicky to me.
It can seem like a formula at first.
Right.
But trust me.
Okay.
The STAR method is incredibly effective.
Okay.
And here's why.
Okay.
It allows you to structure your responses in a way that's clear, concise, and memorable.
Okay.
So instead of just saying, I'm a good problem solver, you're providing a concrete example that illustrates your problem-solving skills in action.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through it.
Okay.
How would I use that? If someone asked me like about my leadership skills.
Okay, let's say the interviewer asks, tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership.
Right.
Okay, so Instead of giving a vague answer, you can use the STAR method to paint a vivid picture.
Okay.
So you start by describing the situation. So perhaps you were leading a group project in college.
Okay.
Then you outline the task, your specific role, and responsibility within the project.
Okay.
Next, you delve into the action.
Okay.
The steps you took to lead the team effectively.
Okay.
Delegate tasks. Overcome challenges.
Okay.
And finally, you highlight the result, the positive outcome you achieved.
Okay.
Maybe finishing the project ahead of schedule, receiving high praise from your professor.
So it's almost like you're telling a story.
You are.
With a beginning, middle, and end.
Exactly.
But you're highlighting your skills within that story.
Yeah, it's about showcasing your skills through a narrative that's engaging and easy for the interviewer to follow.
So you're giving them a little glimpse into how you would actually work.
Exactly.
Like,
and from an interviewer's perspective, that's incredibly valuable.
Okay.
It shows me that you can not only talk the talk,
right?
You can walk the walk.
You can back it up.
You can back it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we've talked about prepping for the interview, answering those kind of questions, using the STAR method, but now the guide also talks about asking questions.
Yes.
But isn't that the interviewer's job?
It might seem counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But asking insightful questions can be just as important as giving great answers.
Okay.
It shows that you're genuinely interested in the role.
Okay.
That you've done your research and that you're actively thinking about how you can contribute.
So it's not just about asking, like, what are the benefits?
No.
Where do I get vacation?
No, you should be asking more specific questions.
Yeah.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
An interview is a two-way street.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for both you and the company to assess whether it's a good fit.
Gotcha.
Asking thoughtful questions not only helps you gather information, but it also demonstrates your initiative and critical thinking skills.
So you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
You got it.
Okay. So we've talked about prepping for those common interview questions.
Yeah.
And, you know, using the STAR method to make those answers really memorable.
Yes.
But this guide also spends a lot of time talking about asking questions. And I get that.
Yeah.
It shows that you're engaged.
Right.
But are there like certain types of questions that are better than others?
Absolutely. It's not just about asking any question. It's about asking the right questions.
Okay.
The ones that show you've gone beyond that surface level research and are really curious about the role and the company.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Give me an example.
Okay. So let's say you're interviewing at a company that's undergoing a big change.
Okay.
Maybe they're expanding into a new market or adopting some new technology. Instead of asking, tell me about your future plans. You could dig a little deeper.
Okay.
You could say something like, how do you see this transition impacting this specific role?
Right. So you're connecting their big goals with the actual job you're applying for.
Yes.
I see that.
It shows you're not just thinking about your career.
Right.
You're also thinking about how you can contribute to the company.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So do you think it's better to ask questions that show you know about the company? Or questions that show what your aspirations are?
That's a good question. I think it's all about finding that balance.
Right.
You want to show off your research, your understanding of the company.
Yeah.
But you also want to express genuine curiosity and enthusiasm for the role.
So a healthy mix of both.
Yes. And remember, an interview is a two-way street.
Right.
It's a chance for both sides to see if it's a good fit.
Okay, so this is really making me think about this whole asking questions thing differently.
Yeah.
It's not just about filling the silence.
Oh.
It's another chance to really...
It is. It's a chance for you to shift your mindset from being the passive interviewee to being the active participant.
Yeah, because I usually go into an interview thinking, like, okay, they're going to ask me questions.
Right.
I'm going to answer them the best I can.
Yeah.
But I need to remember that I'm also interviewing them.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got before the interview, like prepping for the interviews. We've got during the interview, asking and answering questions.
Yes.
Now, what about after the interview?
Yes, the post-interview phase.
Yeah.
Which can be...
Oh, it's the worst.
I know.
The waiting.
The waiting is brutal.
I hate it.
It is.
Do you have any advice for getting through that?
Well, this guide emphasizes the importance of a thank you note.
Really?
Yes.
People still do that?
Oh, I think it's more important than ever.
Okay.
It's a simple gesture.
Yeah.
But it goes a long way
Okay.
in reinforcing your interest and leaving a positive impression.
Okay. But is it old-fashioned?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think in today's world where everything is so digital and communication is so fast and sometimes impersonal, a well-written thank you note really stands out.
Okay. I'm convinced. But what should I say in it?
So you want to strike a balance between expressing gratitude and reiterating those key strengths.
Okay.
You can mention something you talked about during the interview, a project that resonated with you, a question they asked that sparked your interest.
So really show them
that
I was listening.
Exactly. You were paying attention,
Yeah.
not just going through the motions.
And the guide also says that you can use this as an opportunity to clarify anything or if you forgot to mention something.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good point.
It's a chance to circle back.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's not just thanking them. It's continuing that conversation. And reinforcing your candidacy.
Okay, so it's like step 2 of the interview process.
It is.
Okay, so we send the thank you note. We're waiting.
Yes.
This is the hard part.
It is.
But the guide also says we should use this time.
To self-reflect.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because usually I just try to forget about it.
I know it's tempting to just want to distract yourself.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea.
Okay.
To think about what went well during the interview, what areas maybe you felt less confident.
Okay.
Did you stumble over a question?
Okay.
Could you have given a stronger example?
Yeah, that's a good point.
For a skill.
Yeah, it's tempting to just focus on whether I get the job or not.
Right.
But even if I don't.
Exactly.
That feedback is really important.
Each interview is a learning experience.
Okay.
Regardless of the outcome.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you're refining your approach. Identifying your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And just gaining more confidence.
So even if I don't get the job.
Right.
It's not a failure.
No, it's not.
It's a learning experience.
It is.
Okay. I love
and
it.
Remember, every company is different.
Right.
Some move really quickly. Some take their time.
So how long should I wait before I reach out again?
That's a good question.
Because the waiting is killing me.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
The guide suggests waiting at least a week or two before sending a gentle inquiry.
Okay.
But remember, it's all about the tone.
Yeah.
You're not demanding an answer.
Right.
You're simply expressing continued interest.
Okay.
And checking in on the timeline.
So I shouldn't be like, why haven't I heard back?
No.
Okay.
More like, hey, I just wanted to reiterate my enthusiasm and see if there are any updates.
God, it's so polite.
Yes.
But still interested.
Exactly. And even if you don't get this job, the skills you've developed throughout this whole process are going to help you in the future.
It's like practice makes perfect.
It really is.
The more you interview, the better you'll get at it.
The more comfortable you'll become. And with each experience, you're going to refine your approach, identify your strengths, and ultimately find the perfect fit for you.
So we've talked about, prepping for the interview and how to answer those tricky questions and even how to ask good questions ourselves.
Right.
But then there's this whole other part.
Yes.
But we haven't talked about yet.
Right.
The follow-up.
Yes, the follow-up.
And this guide has a whole section about that.
It does.
So I wanted to get your take on it. Like, why is that so important?
I think the follow-up is often seen as an afterthought.
Right.
Just a formality.
Yeah.
But it's a really great chance to solidify that connection you made with the interviewer and really express your interest.
Okay.
And leave that lasting impression.
But sometimes I feel like I'm being annoying.
Yeah.
If I send another email and they haven't gotten back to me.
Right. It's like, am I bugging them?
It is a delicate balance.
Yeah.
You don't want to seem pushy or desperate.
Yeah.
But a well-timed, thoughtful follow-up can really work in your favor.
So how do I do that?
So according to this guide, the first follow-up should always be a thank you note. Ideally within 24 hours.
Of the interview. Okay.
But this isn't just a quick thanks for your time.
Right.
This is a chance to reiterate your strengths. To connect them back to the role and even mention something you talked about during the interview.
So it's like another cover letter, but shorter.
It's like a mini cover letter.
Yeah.
But personalized
Yeah.
and conversational.
Okay.
Yeah, think of it as a way to remind them why you're a good fit and to reinforce that positive impression.
So should I handwrite it or email it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
While a handwritten note
can add a personal touch
right.
in today's world. An email is usually better.
Okay.
It's more practical.
Right.
And it's faster.
Makes sense.
So you sent your thank you note.
Yeah.
Now we wait.
The waiting?
I know.
How long should we wait?
This guide suggests at least a week or two before sending a gentle inquiry.
Okay.
But again, it's all about the tone.
Right.
You don't want to be demanding. Right. You're simply expressing continued interest and checking in.
So like, hey, I'm still interested.
Exactly.
What's the timeline looking like?
Yes, just a simple check-in.
Okay.
And remember, even if you don't get the job, you've gained valuable skills going through this process.
That's true.
So think of it as an investment in your future.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive has been really helpful.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I feel like I've learned a lot about interviewing.
Good.
And it's not just about memorizing answers or, putting on a show.
Right.
It's really about preparation.
Yes.
And being strategic.
Yes.
And really showing your enthusiasm.
Exactly.
So for anyone listening out there who's getting ready for an interview, remember, you got this.
You do.
Just prepare.
Yes.
Be strategic.
Be yourself. Be yourself. Let your passion shine through.
Yeah. And the right job will come along.
It will.
Well, this has been another great deep dive.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening.
Yes.
Keep learning.
Keep growing.
And keep diving deep.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. Ready to take your interview game to the next level?
We're talking about those advanced strategies.
The ones that really make you shine, We're going beyond the basics today.
And, you might think you've got it all figured out.
Especially if you've been in the game for a while, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But trust me, there's always another level.
Always room to grow, right?
Exactly. This deep dive is all about those subtle things that make you truly memorable, those little details that set you apart.
The things that make you unforgettable make them want to hire you, right?
Precisely. And our guide for this is a fantastic podcast episode titled Master Your Next Interview, Advanced Tips for Professionals. I'm excited to break it down with you.
Me too.
Yeah.
So where do we begin? What's the first step to becoming that unforgettable candidate?
Well, you got to start with research.
Okay.
But not just skimming the company website.
Yeah.
We're talking deep dive.
Per trait.
Yeah. You got to go deeper, become like a mini expert on their world. Look at their recent news. Dig into their financial reports. Even check out competitor analysis or what people are saying about them in industry forums. You really want to understand their wins and losses, where they're headed, their challenges, the whole picture.
I see. So like if I'm interviewing with a tech company that's, really into AI right now, I shouldn't just ask a general AI question. I should show them I've done my homework.
Exactly.
So I might say something like, I saw you recently acquired that smaller AI startup focusing on natural language processing.
Right.
How do you see that tech integrating with your existing products?
Now that's impressive.
Yeah.
You're not just asking a question. You're showing you've gone beyond surface level research and you're thinking strategically about their future.
Makes them see you already fitting in.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Okay. So we've got the deep research down. We're practically experts on the company. Now, how do we make sure they see our value? Like I've heard about creating a personal value proposition.
Yes.
But it kind of sounds a little salesy, doesn't it?
It's crucial, but you're right. It's not about bragging. Think of it as giving them a concise answer to this unspoken question they have. What problem are you here to solve for us?
I get it. So instead of just listing skills, it's about showing how those skills will help them, what I bring to the table.
Precisely. You need to connect your strengths directly to their needs.
Okay, so like, if I'm a software engineer and they've been struggling with scaling their platform, I could say something like, my expertise in building, high-performance scalable systems using cloud tech can help you tackle those growth challenges and ensure everything runs smoothly as you expand.
Perfect. You've shifted the focus from me to how I can solve your problem.
Right. They instantly see the benefit. Okay. But how do I back up those claims, those promises in the actual interview?
That's where the STAR method comes in.
Situation, task, action, result. Right.
Yes. But we're going beyond the basics here, showing not just results, but leadership, quantifiable impact, all tailored to the specific industry.
Give me an example. Like, let's say I'm a finance professional.
Okay. Imagine they ask about your analytical skills. Instead of just describing a project, you could say, as a financial analyst, I was tasked with evaluating a potential merger. I did, in-depth financial modeling, including discounted cash flow analysis and different sensitivity scenarios. My recommendation, based on all that modeling, led to a strategic acquisition, which actually boosted our portfolio value by 15% within the first year.
Wow.
You see.
That's impressive.
You haven't just described actions, you've shown expertise with those industry-specific tools.
And given them numbers.
Right. Quantifiable impact on the bottom line.
Okay, so we've got research, our killer PVP, and those star stories ready to go. What else can I do to really drive home that I'm the perfect fit for this specific role and company?
It's all about tailoring your responses and asking those really insightful industry-specific questions.
Okay, so not generic questions.
Right. You need to speak their language, show them you understand their world. Imagine two different scenarios. One, you're at a fast-paced tech startup. And two, you're at a more traditional financial institution. You approach each one differently.
Right. So at the startup, I might say, I love agile environments and I'm passionate about innovating, pushing boundaries. But at the financial institution, I'd focus on my risk management experience and regulatory compliance, really highlight stability and attention to detail.
Exactly. And your questions should reflect that too.
So at the startup, I might ask about their product roadmap and how they prioritize user feedback, right? But at the financial institution, I'd ask about their cybersecurity approach and how they handle all those new regulations.
You got it. You're not just asking questions. You're already thinking like a member of their team.
Okay, wow. We covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. Yeah. What's the key takeaway so far?
Preparation is everything.
Yeah.
But it's not just about memorizing answers. It's about building that knowledge base, crafting your narrative, and tailoring your approach to each company and role.
Right. Make them remember you.
Exactly.
And this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back in part 2 to tackle those tricky in-the-moment scenarios, the unexpected curveballs that interviews can throw at you. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive. All about acing those job interviews.
We've laid the groundwork, done our research, crafted that perfect PCP. We've got our star stories ready to shine.
Right now, it's time to tackle those in-the-moment situations, those tricky questions that can really throw you off.
I always get nervous about the tell me about a time you failed question.
It's a classic, right?
Yeah.
They want to see how self-aware you are, how you bounce back from setbacks.
So what's the best way to answer that? Some people say you should, disguise a strength as a weakness, say, I'm a perfectionist.
I think it's got to be authentic.
Yeah.
Honesty is key. Pick a real failure, but frame it as a learning experience.
Show them how you grew, right?
Exactly. Think about a project where things didn't go as planned. Briefly explain what happened and what went wrong, but most importantly, focus on what you learned from it, how you improved.
Okay, so for example, I could say, in a previous role, I launched a marketing campaign that, while it didn't meet its initial goals, I realized I hadn't done enough research on the target audience, so I implemented a more data-driven approach, did some surveys and A/B testing, and ultimately boosted conversions by 20%.
Perfect example. You own the failure, but the focus is on your skills and how you adapted, course-corrected.
Right, turned it into a positive.
Exactly.
Now, salary expectations, that always feels like a tricky one to navigate.
It is a delicate dance.
You don't want to undersell yourself, but you also don't want to scare them off.
Research is crucial here. Use resources like Glassdoor or salary surveys for your industry, your experience level, and this specific role.
Okay, so when they ask, what are your salary expectations, I shouldn't just blurt out a number.
It's better to give a range, not a fixed figure.
Yeah.
You could say, based on my research and experience, I'm aiming for a salary between number and number.
Okay.
But I'm definitely open to discussing this further based on the entire package incidents, the benefits and the specific responsibilities of the role.
That sounds a lot more strategic.
Right.
Shows you've put thought into it.
It opens up the conversation.
Now, what about those curveball questions, the ones that seem designed to throw you off?
Ah, yes.
I once got asked if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? I totally froze.
Yeah, those can be intimidating.
Yeah.
They're trying to assess your creativity, how you think on your feet, even your cultural fit.
Oh, so how do you answer those without rambling?
Take a breath, gather your thoughts, and then connect your answer back to the role or their company values. So if they ask about that superpower, you could say, my superpower would be the ability to quickly analyze complex data and identify patterns.
Okay.
Which would be super valuable in this data scientist role.
That's clever. You turned a weird question into a chance to highlight your skills.
Exactly. Show them you're quick on your feet, and adaptable, which are important in any job, really.
True. Okay, let's talk about different interview formats. What about panel interviews? Those can be intense with so many people firing questions at you.
It can feel like an interrogation, but remember, it's a chance to connect with multiple people at the company. Try to make eye contact with each interviewer, use their names if you can, and treat it as a series of individual conversations happening in a group setting.
So build rapport with each person while still addressing the whole group?
Exactly. Show them you can communicate effectively and handle those complex group dynamics.
Okay, and what about virtual interviews? Those are becoming so common, but it's hard to replicate that in-person connection through a screen.
It's different for sure. Virtual interviews require different skills. Treat them with the same professionalism you would an in-person interview. Dress the part. Have a clean and uncluttered background, and this is really important. Test your tech beforehand. Make sure your audio and video are working properly. No one wants to spend the first 5 minutes troubleshooting.
Right, it's like setting up your virtual stage, right?
Exactly. And remember to make eye contact, which in this case means looking at the camera, not your own image on the screen.
That's hard to remember.
It takes practice.
It does. And what about body language?
Yes. Sit up straight, use hand gestures, project that enthusiasm even if it's through a screen.
It's almost like performing in a way.
It is a performance in a way.
Any advice for handling those unexpected moments in general? You know, those times when you just feel thrown off.
The most important thing is to stay calm and composed. Focus on showing them your problem-solving skills.
So even if I don't know the perfect answer right away, it's about showing how I think.
Exactly. Show them how you process information, how you think on your feet, how you handle pressure. Those are valuable qualities in any role.
It's about being resilient, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, before we wrap up this part, what's the key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
Remember, interviews are a two-way street. You're being evaluated, yes, but you're also evaluating them. So don't be afraid to ask thoughtful questions and gather the information you need to decide if this is the right company and the right role for you.
Welcome back to our deep dive. You know, all about mastering those job interviews, those advanced tactics.
We've covered so much ground already.
We've prepped for the interview, handled those tough questions.
Right.
And now it's time to talk about what happens after you walk out the door.
A lot of people think that's it. The interview's over.
Yeah.
But really, there's still work to do.
The post-interview game.
Right, exactly. It's just as important if you want to land that dream job.
So we talked about thank you notes earlier, but are they really still important? I mean, with everything being so instant these days, you know, emails and texts.
Oh, they absolutely matter. A good thank you note isn't just polite, it's strategic.
Okay.
It's your chance to remind them of your value, the connection you made.
Leave that lasting impression right.
Exactly. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They send those generic, cookie-cutter thank yous that don't really stand out.
Okay, so how do I make my thank you note stand out?
A few things. First, if it was a panel interview, send separate notes to each person. Second, mention something specific from your conversation. Show them you were listening, engaged.
Right.
Third, reiterate why you're excited about the role and how your skills fit their needs. And finally, keep it concise and professional.
Okay, so instead of just saying thanks for your time, I might say something like, Dear interviewer name, thank you again for that insightful conversation about specific topic. I was really interested in learning about specific thing. And as we discussed, my experience and relevant skill would let me hit the ground running and contribute to your team's success right away. I'm really excited about this opportunity and look forward to hearing from you soon.
That's great. Personalized, you highlighted your value, and you sound genuinely enthusiastic without overdoing it.
Perfect. Okay. Now, follow up. How persistent should I be? I never want to pester anyone, but also don't want to disappear.
It's all about finding that balance.
You're right.
If you haven't heard back after a week or so, maybe 7 to 10 business days,
okay,
a polite follow-up email is perfectly acceptable.
What should that look like?
Keep it short, restate your interest, ask about the timeline for a decision, offer to answer any more questions they might have, and most importantly, don't sound desperate or pushy.
So I could say something like, Dear interviewer name, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to follow up on my interview for the position on date. Still very interested in the opportunity and would love an update on the hiring process. Happy to provide any additional information you might need. Thanks again for your time and consideration.
Perfect. You expressed continued interest without being pushy.
Now let's say all our hard work pays off and the offer arrives. Time to negotiate, right?
Absolutely. This is crucial, and it's not just about salary.
Okay.
It's about making sure you're getting a package that reflects your worth, meets your needs.
I think a lot of people feel uncomfortable negotiating, especially when they're excited about the job.
It's understandable, but remember, it's expected.
Yeah.
Employers expect you to negotiate. Go into it with a collaborative mindset. It's about finding a win-win.
So how do I even start that negotiation?
Do your research. Know the market rate for someone with your experience in this role.
Okay.
And be ready to explain your value proposition clearly and concisely.
So instead of saying, I need more money, I could say, based on my experience and relevant skill and my track record of success and achievements, I feel a salary of amount is a fair reflection of what I bring to the table.
Exactly. You're framing it as value, not a demand. You come across confident, not demanding.
Okay, what if they counter with something lower than I hoped for?
Don't be afraid to counter back. But instead of just focusing on salary, think about the whole package. Benefits, vacation time, professional development, even flexible work arrangements.
So I could say, if the salary's a bit low, could we consider an extra week of vacation or a budget for professional development courses?
Exactly. You're finding creative solutions that benefit both sides.
And what if they're just not budging on something?
Then it comes down to your priorities. What matters most to you? Would you take a slightly lower salary for better benefits or a flexible schedule? Make an informed decision based on your needs.
All right, let's fast forward. I've negotiated a great offer. I'm thrilled. Anything else I need to do to ensure a smooth transition into this new role?
Congrats. First, stay in touch with your contact at the company. Get all the paperwork done quickly and be engaged during onboarding.
So even though I haven't officially started, I should still be proactive?
Yes, it shows you're eager and committed. Also, use this time to tap into your network. Talk to people who might know the company culture or the industry.
Great idea. Get some insider perspectives.
Exactly. It's all about gathering information, making connections, and setting yourself up for success from day one.
We've covered so much in this deep dive. From prepping before the interview to negotiating the offer, it's clear that acing the interview at this level is a whole process.
It is.
That's the most important thing you want our listeners to remember.
Never stop learning and preparing. No matter how experienced you are, the job market is constantly changing, so stay adaptable, stay curious, always refine your approach.
So it's about always improving, always growing.
Exactly. The best professionals see interviews as a chance to learn and grow, not just an obstacle to overcome.
I love that perspective. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope these tips help you crush your next interview and land that dream job. All right, so you know how to really nail those job interviews, like really grab their attention and, make them think, wow, this person's the real deal. We're going to dive deep into this episode. It's called Speak with Confidence, 21 must-know words for interviews.
Oh.
It's only 30 minutes, but it's jam-packed with great stuff.
30 minutes. Okay, wow, no time wasted.
Right. So it really focuses on, using the right words to show off your skills and everything, like language that shows you're competent and confident.
Well, it's not about just sounding impressive, is it? It's got to be the qualities that employers are looking for.
Right, exactly. It's like talking their language, but, still being yourself.
Yeah.
So the episode breaks these power words down into categories. We're going to start with words to describe yourself, and these are not your typical resume words.
Okay.
These are words like adaptable, proactive, and resilient.
Oh, those are good, yeah. Especially today. You know how companies are always changing and facing new challenges?
Right.
Like being adaptable, being able to, adjust and thrive.
Yeah.
In any situation, that's gold.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then proactive, the source defines it as taking initiative and anticipating future needs, like a go-getter,
Right.
Not just reacting to problems, preventing them.
Oh, I like that. Employers would love that.
Right.
Absolutely. It shows that you're a thinker.
Yeah.
You're not just waiting around, you're taking ownership.
Yeah.
It's like leadership, even if you're not a manager.
Totally. And then resilient. Bouncing back from difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't want that on their team?
It's so crucial, especially in those high-pressure jobs.
Yeah.
That grit, handling setbacks.
Yeah.
Learning from mistakes and coming back stronger.
Yeah.
Employers want to know you can handle the curveballs.
For sure. Okay, so moving on to describing your skills. Again, not the usual buzzwords.
Okay.
The episode highlights versatile, strategic, and detail-oriented.
So these are, more subtle ways to show off your versatile. For example, means you can handle lots of different things, different roles.
Yeah.
It's like you're a jack of all trades, but you're competent.
And the source makes it clear that versatile means you can do many things well, not just that you can do a little bit of everything.
Right.
You're a valuable asset to the team, someone who can jump in wherever needed. And then there's strategic. That makes you sound like an expert.
Yeah, it shows you're thinking big picture. You're not just doing tasks, you're aligning with the goals.
It's like you have a mind for business, not just busy work.
Exactly.
And the source defines it as planning and executing with a focus on achieving those goals.
Oh, wow.
Like you're results oriented, you're contributing to the success of the company.
Yeah.
Then we have detail oriented, which just sounds simple, but in this crazy fast-paced world we live in, it's so valuable.
It is.
Employers want people who can get things right.
Right.
Someone who takes pride in their work.
Absolutely. Yeah. It shows that you're committed to quality and accuracy, which can mean, handling sensitive information.
Right.
Complex processes,
Okay, now let's talk about those accomplishments. Because everyone has them. The episode uses words like accomplished, results-driven, and transformative.
Yeah, those are great.
They sound good.
They frame your achievements in a way that makes you sound credible.
Yeah.
Accomplish, for instance, highlights your successes, but you're not bragging. You're just owning it.
It's about demonstrating your track record,
Yeah.
but being authentic.
Yeah.
Not just buzzwords.
Right. The source says it means you're highly skilled and successful in achieving goals. Okay, so what about results-driven? Another winner.
I like that one.
It shows that you're all about the outcome.
Yeah.
You deliver. It's not just about effort, it's about impact.
Right. You're focused on specific, measurable outcomes, not just putting in the time you're making things happen.
Right.
And then transformative. Now, this is a big one. Like you went above and beyond. You didn't just keep things the same, you made things better.
Yeah, it's like those times when you made a real difference.
Yeah.
A lasting impact. Yeah.
But I'm curious, isn't that word a bit overused? When is it really okay to use it without sounding like you're exaggerating?
That's a good point. Transformative is powerful. So you got to use it carefully.
Right.
Not for, small changes. It's for big shifts.
Right.
Think about when you did something major, launched a big project or changed how things are done.
Yeah.
Those are transformative.
You got to have the proof, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just a casual word.
Right. So how do we actually use these words without sounding like a robot?
Right.
I don't want to sound stiff.
Authenticity is key.
Yeah.
That's what the source says.
Yeah.
You want to sound good, but it's got to be real.
Yeah.
They recommend the STAR method.
Oh, the STAR method.
Yeah.
Situation, task, action, and result. I've heard of it, but isn't that a bit basic?
It's a great framework, but you can take it further.
Okay.
It's not just about telling a story. It's about picking stories that highlight, these power words.
I see.
So instead of just saying, I'm results driven, you describe a time when you had to take charge and adapt and get a good result.
So you show them instead of telling them.
Exactly. You paint a picture.
Yeah, I like that.
And you sprinkle in those power words as you go.
Okay.
Make them part of your story.
The episode also talks about words to use during the interview.
Yeah.
Words like align, optimize, and leverage.
Okay.
I'm not sure about leverage, though. What if it sounds like I'm trying too hard?
It can sound corporate-y.
Yeah.
But it's how you say it. Leverage is good when you're talking about using resources to get something done.
Right.
Showing you think strategically, making the most of what you have.
So I leveraged my experience in X to achieve Y. That sounds better than just I used my experience.
Exactly. It sounds intentional.
Yeah.
And align is another powerful word.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, you can use it to connect your skills with the company's needs. My goals aligned with the company's mission.
It shows you've done your homework.
Exactly.
You're really interested.
Yeah, and optimize is great for problem solving.
Yeah.
It shows you're always trying to improve things, make things more efficient.
So not just I solved a problem, but I optimized this process to achieve this.
Exactly. Shows you're always growing,
That's good.
Employers love that.
So we've got all these words, but how do they work for real? The episode has this sample dialogue.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
Let's try it out. I'll be the interviewer.
Okay, go for it.
So tell me about a time you had to adapt to a challenging situation at work.
Let's see. So in my last job, we had to launch this new product line super fast.
Okay.
I took on extra work.
Yeah.
I used my project management skills to keep things moving and make sure we met deadlines.
Yeah.
We had some problems along the way, but we launched the product and beat our sales goals by 15%.
That's amazing. You used those power words so naturally.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Right. That's what the episode says. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get comfortable with these words so they're just part of how you talk.
It's like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah. And you'll be more confident.
What about different company cultures, though? Like something that works for a startup might not work for, a big company.
A more traditional company.
Yeah, you got to do your research.
Right.
Know the company's values, how they talk.
Like a company that's all about innovation. They might love words like transformative.
And
Disruptive, yeah.
But a more, conservative company, they might like reliable and efficient.
It's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Showing your skills, but also fitting in.
So it's not just about memorizing words. It's about, using them the right way.
It's about being a good communicator.
Exactly. And that's a skill you need for your whole career.
Right.
Not just interviews.
It's like you're adapting. Right. But you still want to stand out.
Yeah, it's a balance.
It is a balance.
That's where, knowing yourself comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Understanding what you're good at and like your values.
Yeah.
And being able to, explain that to employers.
I think that's so important, Sometimes we're so busy trying to impress people.
Right.
That we forget to just be ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And being genuine is what really matters. You can know all the fancy words, but if you're not being real, it shows.
It does. So it's like amplifying the best parts of you.
Exactly. These power words can help you do that.
I like that.
Express yourself better.
Yeah.
More confidently.
So we've talked about a lot of different power words, being authentic. We even did a little interview practice.
We did.
What's the one thing our listeners should remember?
I think the main thing is words are powerful. They can change how people see you.
Yeah.
They can help you get what you want.
Right.
But it's not about just using big words.
Yeah.
It's about choosing words that really show who you are and what you can do.
So be careful what you say, basically.
Be intentional. Yeah.
And the good thing is, it's a skill you can learn.
Yeah, the more you practice, the better you'll get.
And you'll be more confident, not just in interviews, but everywhere, right?
Exactly. It's about your whole career.
Yeah.
It's about taking control, and writing your own story.
So to our listener, try these power words out.
Yeah.
Don't just memorize them.
Right.
Like really understand them and see how they work for you.
And remember, be yourself.
Yeah.
The best version of yourself.
Because when you do that, when you're speaking your truth, that's when amazing things happen.
Okay. Until next time, keep on diving deep.